Hello, Meoni here, and welcome to the 4.2 preliminary patch notes. This is a bite-sized edition, broken down as much as possible into the smallest video I could possibly make to list all of the changes coming in 4.2. Eureka and Hildebrand quests will actually be added in 4.25. This is delayed from 4.2. These updates, however, are planned for a month after 4.2, but that's plenty of time to get stuck into the rest of the content, so I don't think we'll really be too worried about that delay, especially with the amount of stuff we have to go on. Lots of new main scenario quests are listed. I'm not going to get into the names because it could spoil something integral to the plot of the game, but there are plenty on the list to get stuck into. And now on to the main changes. To ensure new players are able to enjoy the cutscenes in Castrum Meriandum and Praetorium, all cutscenes in these dungeons can no longer be skipped. Because this will increase the time required to complete these dungeons, completion rewards and duty roulette bonuses for these duties have been increased. This is a controversial change that's lit up Reddit as of now, and it might make scenario roulette queues quite bad, and the incentive is not really going to be great enough to sort of invest that sort of time in a main scenario dungeon, so I don't know if that's going to damage the queue times. It probably will. New side quest stories have been added, including one of the Four Lords. This includes the Hell's Lid dungeon, and eventually the first of the Four Lords as a primal fight. Omega Sigmascape is also added to the game. This contains 5 new quests to unlock the various boss instances from version 1 through to version 4. Fractal Continuum Hard Mode dungeon has also been added to the game. The prerequisites include being level 70 on a job, have completed the main scenario from 4.0, and have cleared the original Fractal Continuum instance. The Fashion Report minigame has been added to the Mandeville Gold Saucer, complete with the Passion for Fashion Unlock quest. Prerequisites for this are level 15 and have unlocked the actual Gold Saucer via the quest in Uldar It Could Happen to You. Glamour prisms have all been made into just regular glamour prisms, no more different types. As a result, the original glamour unlock quest in Mordona now reward 12 glamour prisms instead of different prisms as it used to. They've added the Ananta Beast Tribe quests and storyline. This is found on the Castellum Velodina bridge in the Fringes zone. This includes a fancy new vendor for their Beast Tribe. All of their quests will be level synced, just like the Kojin ones, to make it so that you don't just face roll the quest completely. And it's revealed the Ananta trade in the Dream Staves currency. This is a new currency added to your currency tab, awarded from completing one of their daily quests, and is used for the purchase of various rewards, including eventually the elephant mount, which you can obtain from Bloodsworn Reputation with the Ananta. Gear for Disciples of a Hand has been added as a reward for Ishgardian Tradecraft Leaves, and apparently the experience from Hand of Land class quests has been upped, so if you're going to level those, it might be the time. The Lost Canals of Uzania and the Hidden Canals of Uzania have been adjusted as follows. The drop rate on the Time-Worn Thieves map to actually have a chance to enter the Hidden Canals has been increased, thank God. The rewards have also been adjusted, and the level sync for both Hidden and Lost Canals is now 370 item level synced, instead of 310 and 340 as it was previously, respectively. Adventurer Squadrons has seen some love in this patch. 3 new dungeons have been added for us to do with our intrepid team of badasses, or Power Rangers, depending on how you've glamoured them, Desmill Darkhold, Ferrous Sirius, and Copperbell Mines Hard, which are a really nice selection of dungeons, and I can't wait to keep leveling alts in them, to be honest. They also adjusted the amount of enmity gladiators and marauders generate in this mode, which is a good move, and the use of attack actions by thaumaturges has been adjusted, with the overall behaviour of the AI being tweaked respectively. I can't wait to see these changes firsthand. I'm pretty excited about the Adventurer Squadrons. A lot of people don't seem to understand why, but I don't know, it's just something I enjoy. I'm pretty excited. New items are being added to Free Company workshops for craft, including the ability to create blueprints and parts for and put together your own submarine. With this is the new Subaquatic Voyagers system, which is in this patch, and is promised to be much easier to make than airships in the latest Game Watch interview with Naoki Yoshida, if that's anything to go by. So we'll see. The housing itself has been updated. Wards 13 to 18 have been added to all residential districts. These new wards will be added 1 week after the release of 4.2, however, so they're not going to be in as soon as the server goes up. But this does include 6 new wards for every zone, and a subdivision for each, and apartment buildings in both the ward and subdivision for every zone, so there's plenty of housing in this patch. In 4.2, you will not be able to purchase housing individually, however, for a temporary period that they haven't specified, and you will need to have a free company of at least 4 players to purchase a house. There are other restrictions we talked about on a previous video, but essentially that's the basics. In addition to this, players can now teleport directly to a friend's estates, be it their personal or free company. The restrictions to this are they have to both be on each other's friend list and have enabled the guest access in the housing tab. New NPCs for your housing have been added, including Anantan NPCs and Allegan NPCs. To go with this, they have actually doubled each housing type's number of allowed NPCs. Apartments and private chambers now allow 4 from 2 NPCs, cottages 6 from 3 NPCs, houses 8 from 4, and mansions 10 from 5 NPCs, which is a drastic improvement, and I can't wait to see the new models. This is going to help people who are juggling between materia melders and menders, for example, so I suppose you can have pretty much one of everything now. In further addition to housing, the furniture contest winner entries for Europe, America and Japan have been added into the game, including the carbuncle bathtub, the hedge maze for outdoors, and the shadow lamp that projects shadows of monsters on the walls in your house through light, which is pretty cool. Lots of new Eastern housing items are also added in this patch, which we'll probably look at in a future video that aren't listed here and will be listed on the 29th when these patch notes get updated. New fish have also been added to the list of tankable fish in aquariums. If I find any time at all between content, which I probably won't, I definitely want to look into catching and tanking each one of these new 9 fish, which includes more hypingly a silken koi. I love koi fish. What can I say? I like fish. New paintings and seeds for flower pots have also been added as well. The Fashion Report minigame is in the Gold Saucer. We did a big section on this in the previous video on the live letter, but essentially it's a glamour contest that rewards MGP once per week. 10,000 minimum MGP for your attendance basically to this event, and then bonuses after that point for high ratings from the NPC judge. Looks like fun, can't wait to try it out. New items have been added for purchase from MGP, as you might imagine, and they don't go into more detail at this point, so it's pretty much a gamble, pun intended, to see which items and mounts and minions actually become obtainable from MGP rather than other sources. Hopefully nothing too important, otherwise I'm going to be in a Gold Saucer even more than I already am grinding. You can now port between gates in the Gold Saucer. Gates are the little activities like for jumping puzzles, etc. by talking to a gatekeeper who will now port you to the next gate area or an upcoming gate area that's going to be in use. In addition, gates will now mostly reward you some MGP even for failure. This includes falling off the stage for any of the wind blows, face change, we can believe it, etc. events that take place on the stage, including that of the jumping puzzles if you fail to complete them in the time allotted. Which is nice to at least get something for your time and not be punished for basically failing something that's arbitrary. Triple Triad got some really nice changes with 5 new cards added, which they show here, and also new NPCs to challenge that have been added to the game in various areas. NPCs will no longer have restrictions on when they can be challenged to Triple Triad, and that new icons above their heads will change depending on what needs to be done with that NPC. An exclamation point will be above an NPC's head if you have yet to challenge or beat that NPC. A star will be above their head if you have yet to gain a card from them. This includes a new list of all available cards from that NPC on the actual challenge screen when you talk to the NPC itself, which is a massive quality of life change and is going to make collecting it much simpler. They show off a new performance UI again. This includes an on-screen playable keyboard for both keyboard users and gamepad users, with 3 new sounds, piano, lute and fiddle, to add to the original harp sound. You can now change the volume of other performers or your own, or mute them and independently adjust instrument volume away from the other sound sources, which is quite useful, especially for Limsa Laminsa. A new certificate of commendation system is added to the Wondrous Tales from Chloe Aliapo in Idleshire. These certificates allow you to straight up save up and buy items from Chloe instead of dealing with stacks of RNG and trying to get 3 lines for the item you want, which doesn't seem that doable at all. There's the odd post on Reddit, but I've never seen 3 lines. This is a solid change in my opinion, and in addition to this, Rabanasta Raid is being added to the Wondrous Tales as an activity too. New emotes have been added to the game, and the S-Fetition has the 2 new hairstyle options up for use, including Asai Brutus and the Lalafar friend of Kryle's hairstyle from the 4.2 trailer for you to pick and choose. Massive battle changes to jobs for both PvE and PvP are listed, which honestly would require another hour to cover, so please check those changes out for yourselves in the link provided in the description. There really is too many balance changes to really read out, so I'm going to pass that up for now. As you may or may not know, elemental resistances have been stripped from items and gear, consumables, materia, etc., and they have changed the stats on some gear to compensate for this, but as a whole they want to get rid of anything elemental based, and this is the first step. The new dungeons we talked about are added, including Hell's Lid, which is part of the Four Lords storyline, and the Fractal Continuum hard mode. Both these dungeons require a free 10 or above item level to take part, and have quests to unlock them starting in Rhalga's Reach. Speaking of dungeons, Kagane Castle and Temple of the Fist now have an item level sync of 340 due to the increase of item level from new gear in the patch. Jade Stoa Trial got added to the game, and this trial will require players to be an average item level of 325 or above, and you get 60 minutes with a team of 8 to take him down. The Extreme mode is also in the patch at the same time, with a 340 average item level restriction, which rewards players with a weapon drop upon completion that will be used in high tier raiding, I'm pretty sure. The power of the Echo, the stacking damage and healing buff, has been added to Shinryu Extreme. You could have probably guessed this would happen by now, and here it is. Perhaps pugs will be easier. Nah, probably not. Sigmascape version 1 through 4 has been added to the game. 1 requires an average of item level 340, version 2 requires 345, version 3 and 4 also require 350, likewise average item level or above to take part in that. In addition, tokens that drop there once per week, obtainable per difficulty, can be exchanged for gear in Rhalga's Reach, including an item which you can get 1 a week from beating version 4, which is the new Sigmascape crystalloids, which can be saved up and used to increase the item level eventually of Mendacity weapons, which are going to be really good. In the talk of raids, Rabanasta got its weekly restrictions of rewards from coffers removed completely, along with the weekly lockout on Rabanasta coins, and Rofakale and Adalphus will independently drop their respective triple triad cards party-wide now, instead of having to roll against the entire alliance. Might make this easier to collect, but I doubt it. Tomestone's got a big change. Mendacity is the new hotness from new dungeons and raids, capped per week with a hard cap of 2,000. Creation is now no longer weekly capped and directly replaces any dungeon that rewarded Verity as a reward. Verity is straight up gone from being able to be obtained in 4.2, and if you got any left over, you need to go to Mordona, where you can exchange Verity for creation on that currency exchange tab. Hell's Lid and Fractal Hard are now part of the Expert Roulette exclusively, and Alamigo, Kagane Castle, Temple of the Fist and Drowned City of Scala are now on the level 70 Dungeon Roulette instead. This roulette rewards 15 Mendacity and 100 creation tomestones. Duty Roulette Mentor has Hell's Lid, every part of Sigmascape normal, the Fractal Continuum hard, and the Jade Stoa added to it. And with that, the item level requirement for queuing for Roulette Mentor will be up to 325 required item level average. Lots of new items and gear is added in the patch, and in the prelims they aren't going into much detail, so we'll have to wait until January 29th for that information to be released fully for those notes. The number you can stack items is increased to 999 instead of 99. This applies to everything per slot, so 999 wood or 999 fish, etc. Fantastic quality of life changes that are going to make gathering much easier to manage in your inventory, especially with the inventory space that we have at the moment just not being enough. Even though it's been increased in 4.0, I'm still at max capacity. Item levels got added to food. This is to make it easier to use the sort command to find things you need faster, as the system now sorts by item level, which includes food. Lots of new gathering nodes have been added to the 4.0 areas, new items you can gather and craft, new fish through the level 62 to 70 fishing holes, basically a ton of stuff they'll need to do an extensive list on the 29th of January. It's pretty exciting actually. The new mounts are being added to the game that we looked at in previous videos, including changes to 3 we already have access to. These are the Grand Company War Steeds, that's Storm, Serpent and Flame. These will now be able to fly as of 4.2. They are hard to obtain, needing a fair amount of grinding in PvP to get, so letting them fly is welcomed, albeit looking rather odd in this screenshot where they're just sort of like galloping in midair. Bit weird. New Chocobo barding for Jade Stoa got added, which looks like a white tiger set that looks really cool. The minions we looked at before are being added, including the Weasel and the white tiger cub minions. Glamour dresses are being added, so you can buy them and put them in your houses as opposed to having to go to in-rooms all the time. There's a huge section on how glamour dresses and glamour plates and the new glamour system works here, which we already looked at in the live letter video previously, and I will have an in-depth guide when the patch drops for that for you. The duty recorder feature has been added. This allows you to record, once everyone consents to it, a dungeon run or boss fight. Then you can analyze move by move from every perspective of every player in real time or slow it down in your in-room to analyze a fight. This will be available at 4.2's launch, but will be only usable to record Jade Stoa and Jade Stoa Extreme initially, with other instances being added to its recordable function in the near future. They've done this deliberately, obviously, to prevent the world-first race for Sigmascape Savage being too quickly learnt and cleared, which is a smart move. Next, they briefly show off the new Chocobo Saddlebag, which is a new 70-slot inventory. You can apparently access this anywhere that you're not in combat or in a duty. You can even trade items between retainers and vendor windows. So I'm guessing this means you don't even need the Chocobo out to access its inventory at all, which I had previously thought, and I thought I'd read somewhere, but actually seems to be the contrary. Seems actually quite useful then, because, you know, I'm not always going to have my Chocobo out, am I? So interesting. Lots of other system changes to follow, including the ability to accept teleports from party members whilst you're on a 2-player mount, or the ability to now keybind actions to your mouse wheel up and down buttons, and much, much more. The full patch notes will be out and updated on the 29th of January, and you can be sure I do an update video at that date. But for now, thank you for watching this video breaking down the patch notes as much as possible. If you enjoyed it, throw me a like below, and I will indeed see you all next time.